Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to this Thursday, the 23rd of May. Hope your week has gone well. As we're getting ready to head into Memorial Day weekend, we had an NVIDIA report last night, as well as some Fed meeting notes to talk about. We'll do that and more when Dave joins us here in just a few seconds. Before we do that, though, let's not forget that there's only so many things in this world we can control. And one of those is your portfolio. By knowing how much risk you have in that portfolio, you can take control, making sure that it lines up with the amount of risk you should have in that portfolio. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis. With that, we've got Dave coming up next.
5.7 Light FM morning. All that is Corey Hart. My name, I think it is. It's Morning Dave. I'm going to check my driver's license and make sure. It's 8:42 now. Time to check in on your money and see what the herky-jerkies look like overnight, because we told you this was going to happen, and, well, dag-nab, it did on Wall Street. Phillip Statler is on the phone from Statler Financial Services downtown. Does whiplash sound like a familiar experience, Phillip?
Hey, that's what happened to us at least all day yesterday. When the minutes came out, just like you and I said, it wasn't going to be good news, and it was not good news. We have more and more of the Fed governors getting on the bandwagon that maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to raise interest rates another quarter of a point to get this thing under control, because the last couple months, it's not been going in the right direction.
Yeah, I really hate to tell the starry-eyed optimists out there, I told you so, but we told you so. Fed minutes came out at 2 o'clock yesterday, and I don't think anybody said anything about a rate reduction on the reference interest rate. Even the doves that were talking about rate reductions earlier during their meeting were talking about holding the rates higher for longer. And yeah, a few of the Fed governors in the meeting were saying we might need to bump them up another 0.25%. It was pretty much what you and I kind of expected to have happen. I mean, these guys may be politicians at heart, but they're also relatively smart people. And I'm sorry, we've only had one really bright inflation report, and that was the CPI snapshot we had a couple of weeks ago. Everything else is indicating that we're holding at about half again as much inflation as the Fed says they want. And if I had to, anything resembling my finger on the economic pulse of the nation, I'd say this ain't what we had in mind.
No, it's really not. And I think we've actually got more Fed governors actually coming on board and saying, well, becoming more hawkish in terms of raising interest rates. And so I thought that was interesting, too, when we looked at the actual minute report. Now, the other thing we had come out yesterday, you and I talked about it, NVIDIA came out after the market reported. And, of course, they blew the doors off of it, right? Earnings, revenue. And so that's got the markets going, jumping sky high today. And so that's some good news for them as they continue to grow. They said, Dave, that their revenue year over year up 400%.
Yeah, earnings surged 461%. Revenue was up 262%. So not only did they increase their revenue, they made a potload more off of the revenue, and they got so doggone big that they also announced a 10-for-1 stock split, which, I mean, you don't see stock splits that big happening very often. They're saying, look, it's about time that the Joe Q six-pack get a chance to be able to buy some of our stocks, so they're splitting their stock 10-to-1. That's the other side of the whiplash. I mean, we tanked by 400 points on the Dow as the Fed minutes were coming out, and then turned around and went right back up. The futures post-market last night, it was pretty much a straight line up after NVIDIA reported, and it was kind of what you and I were expecting, because, I mean, we expected NVIDIA to do well. We didn't expect them to do that well. And, it just became, okay, tank, and then come right back again off of the Magnificent Seven futures.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually got NVIDIA trading up this morning to $1,016 a share. So that's why I think that the 10-for-1 stock split's kind of getting out there, because it has become high priced. And so, That was good news. Just to kind of dig down to the numbers. I know a little earlier than normal, but we are their earnings were $6.12 a share versus 5.59, and they came in with about $1.5 billion more than expected in revenue, and their expectations for the current quarter is 28 billion in revenue. I found this interesting, Dave. I was digging down and reading another report and about their chip usage, and 40% of their revenue came from the big guys, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Oracle. Basically, made up the mid 40% of their revenue that's last quarter. And so the other thing I saw interesting is there's a company that has bought some of these chips and putting them into their cloud servers, GPU servers, and they're charging $4.25 an hour to rent the NVIDIA H100 chip.
You can rent a chip now. I love it.
Now, they say that if you have a big language model in Open AI GPT, that it takes several of those chips, and it takes them like 100 hours to do all that stuff.
Good heavens. One of the questions, and this kind of begs something every time something new comes out technologically, now that we've got it, now that we know it's hot, now that we know investors really love it, now kind of like that rent-a-chip deal, they're trying to figure out how to monetize it. And one of the side things to artificial intelligence, and NVIDIA kind of has the license for the for the basic chip that runs the thing, and the Chat GPT people are the people that have the software on it, and everybody's basically morphing that. I've got a Chat GPT bookmark on my website. You can ask it what color is a tiger, and it'll answer that for free. But if you want to do anything serious, they've got a price structure for it to buy into it. Google then yesterday announces that they're going to, on their artificial intelligence variant, when you use them and their AI base to do a search, it's going to include advertising. In other words, artificial intelligence is getting more and more human. You can now bribe it to give you an answer by advertising with it. Next thing you know, they can run for office too. I mean, not only is it smart, it can be bribed. What more do you need to have it register to vote? I mean, they're all trying to figure out how to make some money off of it. Microsoft is including it with Windows, and that's a subscription service. Nobody's really completely figured out how to make money off of this turkey yet, and everybody's got a different idea. All we know is it's exciting, and we're buying NVIDIA like chiclets, but we don't know how the heck they're going to be able to make any long-term money off of it.
That's right. That's right. They just keep trying, and the thinking is that NVIDIA's chip's going to make it. There's going to be more possibility, because one of the other things that NVIDIA did, we haven't talked about, is that they have a data center, and their data center is one of the places that it grew by more than 400% in revenue this last quarter. And so that was a huge deal for them, and that's a way for companies to be able to log in and basically be able to figure out ways to make money off of artificial intelligence.
The questions and the answers are going to be interesting. We've got like 4 different revenue models right now, from renting chips to selling the brain to subscription services. Nobody knows for sure how we're going to make money off of it. All we know is we're going to use it one way or the other, and somewhere down the line, I think the AI field is going to end up turning into what a lot of the other high-tech fields have been. There's going to be a shakeout in which somebody's going to end up saying eventually, okay, now you need to start making money like General Motors or the other companies do, and you're going to have to meet a profit-earnings ratio in order to justify your stock price. And we aren't there yet on that.
No, we're not, but it probably won't take long, just like the dot-com bubble, right? Those companies eventually had to figure out a way to make money, or they went out of business. So,
and that's eventually going to happen in the AI field. We're all obsessed over NVIDIA, and with a good point, too, because it's one of those very few stocks that are out there that are a legitimate market mover. But some retailers were reporting, too, this morning. We were kind of comparing notes between some other high-end retailers, specialty retailers yesterday. The discounters didn't do as well as the high-end ones did. North Face's parent company reported overnight, I gather.
They did. VF Corp, which is the parent company of North Face and Vans. Not Not real good, Dave. They actually ended up losing money unexpectedly for the quarter. They were anticipated to earn a penny a share. They lost 32 cents a share. That's a significant difference.
Oops.
Um, and they missed on revenue as well. So obviously they are getting punished today. They're down about 8%.
That's interesting. I think the high-end outdoor wear chain that we had yesterday actually beat the street. That's kind of surprising.
Well, that was Urban Outfitters, and Urban Outfitters sounds like it's like a North Face, but it's not. Urban Outfitters is actually just a clothing store
Yep.
that's a little bit
It's in the
different than
premium.
other clothing stores.
It's in the premium price category though. So I was kind
Yes,
of drawing
yeah,
a comparison, saying high-end versus midline.
yeah. So and then we had, you always like the beauty companies, so we
Oh
had
yeah.
Elf Beauty Supplies, the cosmetic maker. They came out and did well. They beat by about 20 cents a share, came in at 53 cents. Revenue was pretty good too, about 300, 400 million more than expected. And so they're trading up today 4.4%.
We'll take that happily. Resetting the table for the morning, it was a down day at the close yesterday on Wall Street after the Fed minutes came out. Then market closed, NVIDIA reported, and things kind of made a U-turn to the upside. 45 minutes before we opened this morning, what are we looking at?
Hey, we've got the Dow up 0.25%. We got the S&P 500 will open at a new high at up about 0.8%. And then the big winner right now is going to be the Nasdaq 100, up 1.3% before we open up this morning. So that's a big jump, and that's obviously because of NVIDIA. On the other side of the coin, we got silver. It's really been volatile. It's down 2.4% this morning. That's down to $30.74 an ounce, down from that 32 it was yesterday morning. And then gold is down 1.2%. Crude oil is up 0.9% to $78.28 a barrel.
Well, pooh, I did fill up before the price increase, so okay. Overseas markets, the Asian Rim kind of followed our closes, and they were not happy at the end of it all. The Asian Rim markets almost all down, some of them by as much as 1.5% at the close at 6 a.m. this morning. Europe, on the other hand, tends to follow our futures, and they're relatively happy. Overall European index up by about 0.5% halfway through their trading day on that side of the pond. You can follow this and you can scratch your head and bang your head against a wall. If your retirement is at risk, though, banging your head against the wall is banging your future against a wall, too. Get a plan, and that takes a professional pair of eyes. How do I find you to get that plan for my retirement, Phillip?
Hey, Dave, that's why I created the Core Retirement Design to help people design that retirement they always dreamed of. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And we'll be back here again tomorrow morning to fill you in as to what's going on Wall Street then as well. I will see you soon, my friend. Thank you much.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler. It's not.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope that you guys have a great week. As I'm heading in this weekend, I won't be with you tomorrow. So have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care. We'll see you soon.